Okay, so if you happen to see the video I posted right before this, it was all about taking imperfect action, not trying to get it perfect, but just getting it started. So this video that I'm literally shooting 5 minutes after I shot that one is a perfect example of that, because what I'm going to talk about in this video is something that I've been planning to talk about for a very long time. It's something that comes up in most therapy sessions that I've done, and it's probably going to come up in a lot of the videos that I do. And so I've got this, like, one side of my brain is telling me, oh, you should have an outline and you should really plan out how you're going to do this because it could be really impactful. And then the other part of my brain knows that if I do that, it might be another year before I actually shoot this video. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to start talking about it, and we'll see if this goes. I hope it resonates. I hope it helps. So if you're struggling right now, whether you've been struggling for a long time, maybe you've been struggling your whole life's been a struggle, or maybe you're just in the middle of a certain struggle right now, this applies to all of us. And that is, life is difficult. Life is pain. To live, to be a human being, means you will suffer. Pain is inevitable. We can't escape it. The problem is, it's not the pain that we experience. The problem is the expectation that we shouldn't be experiencing said pain, right? So I'm going to make a distinction here. The distinction is that pain is inevitable. You cannot avoid it. Suffering is an extra thing that happens when you wish the pain wasn't there, or you expect that the pain shouldn't be there. That's suffering. Okay, so pain is inevitable. We can't avoid it. Suffering, we cause it. We cause it because we expect or wish that the pain wasn't there. So how do you deal with this? Well, when we're in pain, when we are experiencing painful or negative emotions, we need to be mindful that, yes, we are experiencing this. This is not fun. This is not comfortable. We don't like the way it feels. We don't like the way our body feels. We don't like the negativity that it causes in our mind. But it is temporary. It's here. It serves a purpose. It's not going away until it goes away, but not necessarily something that we have control of. Maybe we do, but oftentimes we don't. The negative emotions anyways. So one of the things that I think ties in well with this is a quote that I heard a few months ago. And as soon as I heard it, I texted one of my dear friends, he's a psychologist, and I said, I'm literally going to adopt this quote with every client that I work with. And funny, just the other day, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, and the same quote came up. And it says this. It says, it is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So what does that mean? Well, think about it like this. We have all experienced pain. We've all experienced suffering. We've all experienced all the things that we've experienced in life. Some of us have experienced great tragedy, trauma. We've all experienced some trauma, but some people have, experienced significant trauma that is, almost like crippling throughout the rest of their life. They're crippled by this trauma. And the thing is that whatever that trauma was, my thing just came on. Okay. Whatever that trauma was, it's not your fault. Whatever happened during your childhood, whatever your parents did to you, or whatever, whoever, somebody hurt you or people have hurt you, your fellow peers hurt you, or you've just been wronged in life, it's not your fault. I heard one of my other favorite podcasters the other day say that anything that happened to you before you moved out of your parents' house is not your fault. Even if it was your fault, the way that your life was going and everything that you'd experienced caused it to happen. So it's not your fault. And you don't have to take the blame for it. But it is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to do something about it, or change your perspective on the rest of your life, so that thing or those things that happened when you were young and didn't have any control don't continue to haunt you in the future. Nobody is going to come in and take this responsibility for you. Nobody can. They can apologize. People can comfort you and tell you it's going to be okay and it's not your fault. But that might help, but it's probably not going to change it. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. If you want to stop being haunted by whatever it was that caused you trauma earlier in life, you have to take responsibility for it. And I don't mean you have to take responsibility and blame yourself for it. Absolutely, don't do that. That's the worst thing you could do. What I'm talking about is taking responsibility for how your mind processes it, how your mind defines it, and what meaning you've attached to it, and how you're living your life and making your choices in life based on those meanings that your mind attached to it back when it happened. And that might be something you need help with. Not always, but this is something that a coach or a therapist or somebody who is experienced and helping you reprocess through the things that have happened and distinguish between what happened and what you made it mean. Find that person. Find somebody that can help you do that. Therapist is a good place to go. You got to find a good therapist. So you got to find somebody that's got experience doing that, and somebody that you can trust and you can sit down and really dig into those things. And sometimes it's difficult. It can be hard work. But if you want things to change, something has to change. And that's what it is. It's up here. You can't change what happened. I know you want to. And yes, you were wronged. And it's terrible that it happened. And it is not your fault. It never will be your fault. And if anybody ever tells you it is, well, I hope nobody does. But I know that for some of you, your mind is telling you that it is your fault. And that's normal too. That's probably your brain's way of coping with it. I don't know why. But it's not your fault. It is your responsibility. If you want it to change, you don't have to change it. Nobody's telling you have to. I'm just saying that if you want to change it, you have to be the change. And it might take some work. Please go out and do that work if that's what you want. Okay? Life is pain. This is the way it is. One of my favorite sayings: happiness is a journey. It's not a destination. Many of us, myself included, live as though it is a destination. Like, oh, I'm going to be happy someday. And when I accomplish this, I'm going to be happy. No, it's a journey. Happiness comes and it goes. We experience it and then we don't. And sometimes we have control over that and sometimes we don't. Sometimes everything appears to be going well and we're still not happy. That's okay. That's life. That's the way it's supposed to be. We got to embrace that. Because why not? What's the alternative? Sit here and be pissed off that we're not happy? just makes us more unhappy. That's what I got for today.